Hello, everyone. I'm here with Davette. I came across Davette on Instagram. I was super excited to see her posts. They were very inspiring. And I saw a lot of similarities on our journey. And I just thought to ask her if she could give us her time to talk about her cancer journey. Hello, Davette.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to start asking, like, how old were you when you were diagnosed with cancer, and what type of cancer did you have?
I had just turned 41, I believe. I had just turned 41, and I had a rare form of kidney cancer where I was one of the lucky ones. Only 5% of people get it. So yay me.
And is it not a genetic cancer, or was there any cancer in the family, or?
There is a history of breast cancer in my family, but no kidney cancer.
And they are not related or anything like that. It was just a rare form that.
Nope, they're not related at all. It was just, I was just the chosen one.
And so leading to the diagnosis, like, what were you feeling? Like, what happened?
It's kind of a long story, but short story. It's crazy that my husband was working overseas in Afghanistan for like 2 years, from 2012 and 2013, and we have 3 kids. So I stopped my job and I was at home. I stayed at home with the kids at that time, and I kept feeling all these different things. Like, I started having acid reflux. I never had that, but I had heard that people in my family had it. So I kind of blew it off, like, okay, I'm getting older. Maybe this is something that's supposed to happen. And then one of the biggest thing was, before he even left, I had a problem with, I couldn't sit down long periods of time. It's like, I thought that I fractured my tailbone. I don't know how, because I didn't do anything to fracture it, but I couldn't take road trips. I just couldn't sit down for long periods of time without, adjusting like this.
Yeah.
And so when my husband left as an independent contractor to go overseas, like every few months I would go to my doctor's office because I would feel different stuff. And I was so adamant. I was like, I have to be here when my husband get here. Like, what's wrong? What's going on? Yeah. Every time I went to the doctor, my primary care physician would prescribe me medication for anxiety. I never took them because I'm definitely against taking pills. They help some people, but I didn't feel like that was the route for me, because I knew that I wasn't having anxiety. I was feeling things that I didn't feel were normal. I didn't think that I was supposed to be feeling this stuff. So
he kind of thought that your pains and the things that you were feeling were related to anxiety. They didn't, not that he didn't think it was real, but there was no kind of checks, like
there were no checks.
Done.
I felt like personally, I felt like he didn't think it was real. I felt like he thought that I was just having anxiety of my husband being gone, or I don't know, but he kept pushing the prescription on me. Fast forward to January of 2016, I could touch my abdomen, the right side of my abdomen, and I felt something sticking out. I felt a knot. And I would go to, I'm a really big goofball. So I would go, shame on me, I don't know what I was thinking. I would go to my family members, my husband and my oldest daughter, and I say, feel this. Can you feel this? Can you feel? Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder what it is. So one day I'm like, wait a minute, you feel something. You need to make a doctor's appointment. I went to the doctor.
Was it a hard lump, or was it?
Yeah, it felt like a hard lump. It just felt like, and it would come and go though. It was like, it was moving. Like sometimes I can touch it, and then sometimes I would feel in that same spot and it wouldn't be there. So I made an appointment with the same doctor, and I went in and I told him, I was like, I can feel something right here. He laid me down, he touched me, tried to write me another prescription.
Could he feel it or no? He couldn't feel it. Because it was moving, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Well, why didn't I get an ultrasound, a CAT scan?
No. And in the, so how long, so from when that you went to see him for the first time, like to 2016, did he do any blood tests or, like inflammation markers or anything like that? No, nothing.
No,
No CT scan, nothing.
no.
Wow.
So that was January 2016. June 2016, it's coming up on my 41st birthday. By that time, well, even before that time, I had been feeling like tingling and like some numbing sensation in my arm and my right arm and down my right leg. I had been feeling that for a while. And with that, my tailbone, me feeling this knot, I just started having thoughts that I was gonna die. I felt like something was wrong. Like it was in my gut, like something is wrong. I'm not gonna be here long. At that time, my oldest daughter had already graduated from high school. My son, who's the middle, he was about to graduate from high school and go off to the military. And all I could think was, he's about to leave and I'm never gonna see him again. Because I'm about to die. So what I did was, I have a best friend that lives in Minnesota, and my dad and my brother also live in Minnesota. So I made a plan to take a trip to go visit them, because this is probably going to be the last time I see them for my birthday. I'm about to go visit them. So I booked the flight to, I didn't tell anybody. This is everything that was going on in my head. Like, something is wrong. Let me go see.
Something inside you like was telling you there's something majorly wrong with me.
Yep. So I booked the flight, and as soon as I got off the flight, I started having stomach pains. And I was telling my friend, I didn't know when the last time I ate. At that time, I was a pescatarian, and I was telling my friend, I need a salad. I need to eat some vegetables or some fruit. Like, I'm hungry. So she took me to get like some fried fish, and because like the only place we're open were like fast food places. So I got some like fried fish and some French fries or something. And the pain didn't go away. And I told her, just bring me to a gas station. I just need a salad. I just need to eat some fresh fruit or fresh vegetables. The pain never went away. So I'm thinking like, okay, you have to stop telling people about it. Because I only told my best friend. I was like, don't tell her. Stop telling her about it, because she's trying to celebrate your birthday with you. You're on vacation. Don't be a buzzkill. Just celebrate and handle it when you get home. Talk to your husband. Wait till you get home. So when I got home, the pain kind of went away a little bit. Even though I did tell him, the pain kind of went away a little bit. But then like a week or so later, it came back in full force, where it felt like, then I felt like something was wrong with my ovaries or something. I felt like I was having female issues. So I made an appointment with my gynecologist, and lo and behold, when I called to get an appointment with my gynecologist, they're like, he's no longer there, but we can have you see this person, some random woman that I never met before. And I'm just like, okay. So I get to the appointment, and I'm telling her about my pains, and she's suspecting that I may have fibroid tumors. So I undressed and I lay down, and I thought she gave me a pap smear. And when I got ready to get up, she's like, oh, you can get dressed now. I'm like, I told her, I said, I'm in so much pain. I've never felt that much pain getting a pap smear. And she says, I didn't give you a pap smear. And she pulls out, the like long Q-tippy thing.
Yeah.
She just did a little swab. I could barely stand up afterwards. I could barely walk. So she sent me to get an ultrasound. This was, my birthday is the beginning of June.
Yeah.
That's when I took the flight. By the end of June, I was in severe pain, and I got the ultrasound done. I got my results back right before the 4th of July. And the results said that it appeared that there was a mass in my liver. And
Okay.
so they sent me to a liver specialist, and he was just like, okay, don't panic. I just need to know if it's a solid mass or if it's fluid, if I need to drain it or if I need to remove it. And I'm just like, the way he was talking, it was so calming. I'm like, okay, it's just that easy. Okay. It's like, but I need you to go get this CAT scan. I need you to get this done first so I can see what I'm dealing with. I'm like, okay. I got it done.
Okay.
And when I get my results, they come up on the computer first. So I was able to check the results before anybody called me. And I remember waking up one morning and reading it, and it was like, such a centimeter mass, right kidney, will not rule out renal carcinoma. And I blocked that part out because at that time in my life, I didn't even know what the heck that was. All I saw was tumor, kidney.
Yeah.
And I freaked out. And I just called up my medical network to get an appointment with the first doctor, the first available doctor. And when I go to the doctor, he's just like, the proper procedure, if there's anything in the kidney, and that big. At that time, they told me that it was the size of a softball.
Wow.
Inside my right kidney. They said, we have to remove the kidney. Do you want us to do a biopsy? And I said, well, if you have to remove the kidney, then don't do a biopsy. We can wait until after you remove the kidney.
Mm.
So I was traumatized. I was depressed. But I brainwashed myself to believe, to keep focusing on, you have two kidneys. People live with one kidney. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
You just got to take the kidney. Just take the kidney and life goes on. At this time, I was in my last year of college. I had went back to school. I was supposed to graduate that December. This was July. My surgery was scheduled for the end of August 30th.
So at that point, they had confirmed, look, it is definitely a tumor.
Yes.
We need to take it out. And
yes.
Did they say anything else around, obviously depending on the biopsy, we'll need to do treatment, anything like that? Or was it just, that's all we're doing for now?
That's all we do. They told me that there was no, for the kidney cancer, there's no radiation or chemo treatment. All they do is the immunity, where they try to build up your, yeah. So that was it. And at that time, I saw one of my aunts had battled with breast cancer twice. The other one, she lived across the country, so I didn't really get to see her, but I saw pictures when she was battling her cancer. And I took comfort thinking like, okay, so I can get chemo or radiation and I'll be okay then. That'll help me. And when they took that option off the table, I went into even more of a depression because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm really gonna die. Like, oh. But I did not think that until I found out that it was actually a cancerous tumor. And I did not find that out until I was released from the hospital a week later. My doctor called me to tell me.
Yeah. So basically on the 31st of August, they took your right kidney out.
Yes.
And then they did a biopsy and they confirmed it was the particular cancer, which is quite rare as well. Not only just kidney cancer, but the rare form of.
Yes.
And then for that one, the protocol is just doing nothing, or
removing the kidney or removing the tumor, and therapy if it had spread, but it didn't spread. It was totally encapsulated inside the tumor.
Mm-hmm.
So just go home and don't get your staples wet.
And that was it. Go home, get back to normal life. Don't get your staples wet.
See you every 6 months for the first 3 years.
Wow. So then, and then what happened? Like you're supposed to rest for 6 weeks, and then what about even like the diet? Like, because obviously the kidney is filtering everything. Like, did Did they tell you anything about how you should change your diet, or anything that you should be, like nothing? Wow. So what did you do? How long did you stay at home? Like, how long did it take you to recover?
I took 30 days out of school, and I went back. I was actually taking courses online, and I didn't want to go back because at that time I just knew I was about to die. What's the point? What's the point of completing my degree that I fought hard for?
So
What
you
was
still kind of had that feeling that, you know, maybe cancer is still inside my body, or you just thought that cancer was going to come back, or what was the actual fear?
the fear was that it was still in my body, or it was going to come back, either or. I because I didn't get any answers. What my doctor told me on the phone when he called me to tell me that it was a cancerous tumor, but the good thing is it's in a bucket.
Wow.
I know that it can come back, and the person that I gave all my power to didn't give me any information. So yeah, I fell into a depression. My husband and my best friend forced me, pretty much bullied me to finish my studies. So it's like, you worked hard for this. You're gonna be so mad at yourself. Don't give up. Don't get up. Don't give up.
What
Don't
were
give
you, what were you studying?
Communications, and then I was studying at that point. What's so crazy is this moment, communications with a minor in complementary and alternative health, and I did not start that until after my surgery. So every case study that I did, I felt like it was pointing a finger at me, like, look what you did. You did all of this to yourself. Look what you did. You should have did this. This is what you can do. But even though it was pointing the finger at myself, I still learned what I could do to change my situation and to change my thought pattern now. Because when it was coming up on my first 6-month checkup, I went into a depression and I had suicidal thoughts. What kept coming into my head is like, I can't live every 6 months for somebody to tell me if I'm going to live or die. Like, that's no way to live. Like, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. That's too much.
Yeah.
So
So how did you, I think that there is a lot of people out there that, obviously when you get told that it's cancer, like I was told as well, was bad luck, because I didn't have any family history. But I kind of acknowledge it after going through that dark period of, thinking that, say, I'm not going to survive, I after going through that for, probably 2 to 4 weeks, I kind of started thinking, okay, well, clearly whatever I did up to now didn't serve me. I needed to change things, and I will change everything so I can improve my chances of survival.
yes.
But it was a feeling, and I feel that you had the same feeling. It wasn't a feeling of guilt and shame, or oh my God, poor me. It was a feeling of like taking responsibility.
Time to fight
Like,
back.
exactly, taking responsibility. Yeah, your choices were not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you made those choices.
Yeah.
Nobody made them for you.
Right.
So from now on, what can you do? I mean, how do you think, was that something that you felt naturally? Am I right to thinking that that's how you felt? It wasn't like, oh, poor me, and
No, I
like,
definitely didn't feel that way. I never felt like I was a victim or poor me. Um, after this the same night that I had a clear picture of how I was going to take my own life, and I ran to my oldest daughter's room so she can sleep with me for the rest of the night, because at that point in time, my husband was working overnights. So I made sure she slept with me so I can get these thoughts out of my head that night. That next day I woke up, grabbed my cell phone, and instantly what I wanted to know was, how do you heal cancer naturally? Who healed cancer naturally? Who survived cancer naturally? What did they do for themselves to beat it naturally? Because that's what I was going to do. I was going to change my life and change my lifestyle and everything that I did so that I could behave as if I had it, so I can get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I followed the hashtag cancer survivor on social media platforms. I followed the hashtag I beat cancer naturally. I found blogs on Google. I found things on YouTube. I reached out to all of these strange people. They became my support system, because not only was I dealing with this cancer, this tumor, but I was used to being the popular person and everybody's go-to for advice and Mrs. Sunshine. Once I found out I had the tumor and I fell into this depression, sad state, everybody just started disappearing. They couldn't handle me being this person because I was that other person for so long. And that put me further into a depressive state. So I had a lot of time on my hands by myself to research, to build myself up stronger, to get my mind right. It sent me on, like I said, it sent me on a total healing journey. A total healing journey.
So you finish your, so you took 30 days off, you finished your course, and obviously you started reading about the natural medicines, through your course. What were the things that you were coming across? Like, was it mostly on social media, or did you read books, or was it through your studies?
Through my studies.
Yeah.
I learned a lot through my studies. I learned about meditation through my studies, yoga, all the other different things that aren't medicine that can help you heal. I bought books. I got the are my books by me? I got the China study. I started
haven't read that one yet. Is it a good book?
Yes. I started watching documentaries on Netflix, like anything that talked about healing yourself naturally, food, meditation, yoga, exercise. I went to 2 different holistic doctors. I started watching the documentary series, The Truth About Cancer. And I had watched it. I believe my father-in-law had me watch it before my diagnosis and stuff. I was familiar with it. And then I rewatched it one night when I was feeling down and out. I rewatched it. And what's crazy about it is when I rewatched it this time, what stood out to me was one of the main doctors on there lived a half an hour away from me. One of the main holistic doctors. And his clinic was like a half an hour away from me. So it was like 1, 2 in the morning. I was like,
oh my
Exodus.
God.
And the name is Exodus. I was like, Exodus. And I just wrote it down. I was like, oh my God, I got to look for him. So I sought out this clinic and I started going there. And at that point, my support system went from just being on the internet and books and documentaries, but this whole little community within this holistic clinic of people that were trying to take their power back from different diseases, different physical ailments, just a bunch of different things. And they all were there. We were doing exercise together. We were getting chiropractic services together. We were going to different seminars, learning about things together.
So so he's a holistic doctor, holistic clinic. So in America, I thought that the law didn't allow them to do anything like that. Is that right or no?
There are still people that are doing it. Well, when I say holistic, he's a chiropractor, and they still consider that chiropractic services are holistic because a lot of medical insurances don't cover it. So he is a chiropractor, and he
Okay.
practiced chiropractic services, but he doesn't just focus on the touching and stuff. It's all embodied in the package and everything and all the services that he offers. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he inside his office, he has the different workout equipment, and then they
Okay.
do the different seminars, and it was exactly what I needed. So being a chiropractic service office, he kind of, I guess, goes under the radar, but he's and not so much under the radar because he's on The Truth About Cancer, and that's
Yeah.
a
I mean, he's
well-known
not
documentary
saying anything
series.
crazy, right? He's just telling people eat more vegetables and fruit, right?
Yes.
And beans and pulses and, you know,
Yes.
I can imagine it's just like, stop eating processed food, don't eat sugar. So it's not
Yes.
like, you know, drink this crazy thing that
No.
I made from the
No.
forest, you know.
No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. And then he also teaches people, if you're interested, he teaches people about the ketogenic diet, and there you can eat certain meats, but it's
Uh-huh.
still a way to kind of heal yourself naturally, to take your power back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So they kind of became like my second family, and I felt
Oh,
healed being in that environment. I felt like I
yeah.
was building myself up. Not only was I doing it at home, but then I had this second home that I can go to and continue to sharpen my iron, so I can remain healthy.
Yes. So why do you think you got cancer?
Because everything that I was doing up to that point was wrong.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I think one thing that you said really resonated with me about the, you know, being the sunshine and being the strength for everyone. You know, I have spoken to quite a lot of people, and I actually haven't read any books about it, but I'm meaning to read about, you know, the cancer personality. I think they go through type A, type B, type C, you know, like um, I kind of went through similar things than yourself. Like I'm a very social person, and my job was very social because I used to work in recruitment, so I was constantly with people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, at the beginning of my chemotherapy, I was getting so sick that you know, my doctor said, look, you need to stay at home. And when I realized that was actually true, I stopped going anywhere. So it was just me, myself, and I. The kids would go to school. My husband would go to work. And I would wake up and, you know, on my worst days, don't get me wrong, I would just have the strength to, you know, eat my meal and go back to bed. Sometimes drag myself at a little walk around the block, listen to, you know, to positive things.
Yeah.
But on my best days, I would just be going for it, you know, like listening to positive things, yoga on my bike, or
Yeah.
weight. You know, I would just do everything.
Yeah.
And my only focus was what am I going to do to help my body to heal today? What I'm going to do to help my mind to heal today? And I just had that 100% focus. And it was after the chemo, I felt really refreshed because being a mom, and my kids were 6 and 4 at a time,
Wow.
I spent all my time focusing on them.
Yeah.
And I had, you know, there was nothing left for me. And I became like so self-centered on my, you know, 100. I was like, that's it, nobody's getting out of my way. I'm putting my oxygen mask first,
Yes.
and it's gonna be me first.
Yes.
and and I think that was you know, and also the contact with people, it was so you know, most people didn't give you anything, because as soon as you said to them, I've got cancer, you know, there will be planning a funeral in front of you. And then you are trying to tell them, oh, I'll be okay. And then I just thought, screw this. I'm not going to spend my time comforting people that
Yeah.
I'm the one having cancer. So, no,
Exactly.
I am not meeting these people. I'm not going to waste my time. You know, I'm only meeting people who are, you know, filling my cup, who are adding to my life.
Yeah. Yep.
And nowadays, this is, I still live up to this,
Yes.
and I'm still very protective of my time and
Yes.
what I need to do for myself, and I still put myself first.
Yes.
But it's, and it is a hard realization that, you know, the people that perhaps you gave so much to, when you kind of need, they can't give anything back. But it's, I also want, I mean, coming from them, I understand as well, you know, it's difficult. You don't know what to say. If people say to you, like, you know, I've got cancer, you know, unless you've gone through it, unless you, it's really difficult. It's a really touchy subject. But yeah, so I thought it was really interesting you said that, because I think there's many people out there, you just spend all your life giving all of you.
Yeah. I like to say that I'm a recovering people pleaser.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And so obviously you still go for your checks every 6 months now.
Now it's every year, once a year. I haven't been checked since July, and I go get checked again this July, except I kind of cheated because I felt comfort by every 6 months. So last month I kind of went to the emergency room and had them check me.
And it was a so it's just a CT, right, that you're having in bloods and things like that.
Yeah.
So when you started, you know, finding out all of that, and you finish your studies, I graduated.
I graduated in I finished in March of 2017, and I graduated, walked across the stage in San Diego,
Awesome.
California, and I believe it was May of 2017.
Yeah, awesome, cool.
Yes.
And then how, you know, what does life look like now? You know, like what happened? Like, you know, if you're like, did you pursue a career in what you study, and you know, like what did you do after it?
I had no idea what I was going to do with that degree. Like I said, I started the communication part in 1995. And then I had kids, had a family, and I put myself on the shelf, like you said that you did, and I started taking care of people, not just my kids, but other people too. So there was never enough time for me to do this. But when it got closer to time for me to graduate, before the cancer, I was really thinking to myself, like, I don't even know if this is still my passion. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this degree. I don't even know what I want to do. I knew that the health and wellness stuff, I still really believed in that, because that's something that was always intriguing to me, because I always wanted to know, why do people get sick? Why do certain people get this and certain people don't? Like, what are they doing that's different? And then I got to be my own guinea pig. Who would have ever thought that? But what happened after that? I'll back up a little bit. Right before, in 2015, I did an internship with an online radio station. So I learned how to work the soundboard for a radio station, do all the sound, like the sound engineering. And so when I finished my schooling, the gentleman that I did that for, he started going over into photography. So he would take pictures of me, which my background before school was entertainment. I did modeling and a little bit of acting. I studied acting professionally for 3.5 years in Virginia Beach. I did a couple of independent things in California. I did stand-up comedy and improvisational comedy in California. But then that was before I moved to Georgia. When I moved to Georgia, which is, I think, 11, 12 years ago, it's like I went straight into mommy mode.
Yeah.
So I kind of started dabbling into that again after cancer, with the photography, taking the photos. And
did you feel that there is a part of you that you was a part of you that you loved and you had left because of the kids? And yeah.
That's my first love. And God. And so but December or January of either December of 2016 or January 2017, I started a group on Facebook because I had learned so much about health and wellness, and I felt like if I didn't know this, my family doesn't know this either, and my family's all over the world. So I said, I need to give this information to them. They need to know this. Once again, I need to save them. They need to know this. So I started this group, and I called it 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗓𝗓. And it was a private group. And then I told my family and friends that I invited, I was like, if you know somebody that you want to share this information with, send them to the group.
Yeah.
The group grew. Some after my surgery, when I was healing, it came into my head that that's what I want to do. I wanted to help people. And I was thinking about when I was little, like, what if somebody taught me the stuff that I know when I was a child? I need to help my community. How can I help the kids? I need to teach. I need to get into this. I need to infiltrate the school system. So I took a short, quick seminar training to become a substitute teacher. And I got into teaching in my community. The first place I started was the high school that all three of my kids graduated from. And I went to the special education department. My youngest daughter is on the autism spectrum. So I felt like I would kill two birds with one stone. I can help the women that help me with my daughter, and I can kind of plant seeds of health and wellness to every person that I met, not just the kids, but every person within my community. So that's what I started to do. After I did the photography, the modeling thing, which I don't even know if I would consider it modeling, because he was just using average people, but that's just what my past experience was. So it kind of made me light up at the time when I was doing all the things. But after cancer, after graduating, I wanted to help people. I started the group. I started substituting. From substituting, I started to take GACE testing, which is these Georgia standardized testing, where if you had a bachelor's degree, that you can test out and become a certified teacher. So I started that process, but I didn't realize that I didn't think about this. I was so on my journey that I didn't realize that once my daughter got out of high school, that she would really need me then, because she's never been out of school. So she needed me. So what I did was I stopped doing the testing, got out of the program, and I took maybe like a month off to spend time with my daughter after she graduated. And then eventually I just went back to substituting, because that gave me my flexibility. But it also not continuing with the testing and letting go of the full-time position gave me the opportunity to turn healthy-vibes into my business. So I got it incorporated, and I started teaching people, and I started gathering clients. I started doing meal preps. I started juicing for people. I started trying to educate people and tell everybody that what I know, teach them what I knew, so they could take their power back too. And that's where I am today. From that, I got invited to speak in India last year. And while I was there, I was invited to speak in a lot of other different countries. And so that's where I am now. That's It's more than I could imagine that it would have been.
Definitely.
Before I went to India, I had never been out of the country before. And I was
So did you go there to speak, or but in particular?
Yes.
So how did you, so you spoke about health and wellness? Was it about?
I spoke about my journey, being a warrior, taking your power back. And I talked about security, securing public places. The basis of how I talked about securing public places was dealing with my kids. Like when people, because there's a lot of stuff that was at that time, and still a lot of different things with the police and stuff with civilians and how they were dealing with the situations. Well, my youngest daughter is on the autism spectrum, and if you gave her a command, she may not know what you're talking about. Would you
Okay.
shoot her? What would you do to her? My oldest daughter occasionally suffers from mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes medication. If she didn't take her medication that day, or if she was
Mm.
having an episode, would I have to come claim her body because you killed her because she didn't follow your command?
Oh, okay.
And then my middle child is a Black male. So would something happen to him just because of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he looks like somebody else that did something? So
Mm-hmm.
I actually I went there to talk about 6 different topics, and 2 of them were about food and healing. But once I
Right.
got there, I actually accidentally overbooked. I was only supposed to speak about 3 things, but I accidentally
Mm-hmm.
overbooked. So I ended up with 6 things. But once I got there, they switched things around, and then they allotted me. I didn't get the opportunity to pick the 3 that I wanted to keep. They just took
Mm-hmm.
3 away, which the 3 that they did take away was the healing with food and,
Yeah.
the power of food. But I was able to speak about my journey, and yeah, it was powerful. And
Awesome.
yeah.
That is such an amazing journey.
Yeah.
And I think my last question would be, if anybody got diagnosed with yolk cancer, no, kidney cancer today, what would you say to that person?
I would tell them that it's not the end. It's not the end. Reclaim your power and keep fighting, and you got this.
Awesome.
It's not the end. Keep going.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Davette. It was really
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank
It's
you.
been amazing. I'm sure you're going to lighten up lots of people's lives. It's just an amazing journey. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.